Okay. This is gonna be a demonstration for doing the coloring for your Royal Liechtenstein portrait drawings. So at this point now, you should be done with the drawing part of the assignment. And I had these on separate layers, but you can actually just do it all in one layer. I think most of you guys probably did this all in one drawing, but if you had them on separate layers, though, there's a way you can just kind of click on the picture image itself, merge down, and now merge the drawings together. Most of you guys probably don't need to do that. Okay, so, pretty happy with my drawing, happy with how it looks. Definitely if you wanted, though, you can always go back and work on the drawing. Just make sure that you click on, layer 2, you work on that layer. But at this point now, I'm really happy with how it looks, so I'm actually just going to lock this layer. So essentially when I lock that layer, though, I can't really click on it like before. So just remember, when we lock the layer, though, gives you a warning, hit cancel. So don't open the layer unless if you really, really want to change it. This kind of just prevents you from, accidentally coloring on this layer when you don't need to. Okay. All right, so let me explain how we're going to do the coloring part. So we're going to click on your layer with the image, and we're just going to check that off. All right, so I want you to just swipe to the right side and duplicate this layer. So we're going to make a second copy of this layer, and we're actually going to unlock this layer. So duplicate, unlock, and we're going to resize this specific layer. You can hide the layer before. But we're going to click on the arrow tool here and check off on uniform, and we're going to resize it and make it smaller. So we're just going to keep it on the top right. Okay, if it's overlapping the drawing, that's not a big deal, that's fine. And we're going to you're going to use your finger and click and drag and hold and move it on top of your drawing that you're doing. Okay, and then if you're still selected on this layer, though, just hit the check to uncheck it. All right, so basically what we're going to do, though, is we're going to zoom in on your picture. And there's a way where we can use the eyedropper and the Procreate program. So if you use your finger and you hold with your finger and move around, this will basically eyedrop the colors that you need to do your coloring for the portrait drawing. So, I can eyedrop my skin tone, I can eyedrop my lips, my hair. So you can see the colors changing on the swatches on the top right. So this is a really easy way to just get the colors that we need for your drawing. Okay, so now even before we start going in with the coloring, okay, you want to click on the layer below. You can click on layer 1 on the bottom, and you're gonna have to make sure to add layers below your layer 2, which is your drawing layer. So we're gonna click on plus to add the layer. For some reason, you add the layer on the very top. As there may be some instances where oh, I'm just gonna add my layer on top here. You can always click and drag and move the layers around. So just make sure it's below layer 2 where the layer where you did your drawing is. And you can begin coloring now. So I'm gonna go back here, eyedrop my colors. So when you pick out a color, obviously there are some really strong highlights in your skin, and there's also dark shadows. So try to find the in-between values, so kind of the mid-tone. So I'll probably use that color for my skin. And then you can hide the your pictures. We're just only using the picture as a reference for colors. And then for the coloring, though, you can use a studio pen. You can make the brush a little bit bigger. And we're just coloring in the areas where my skin is. So feel free to color all of it. So obviously I'm going to make one layer for the eyes, one layer for the hair, the clothes. So you want to separate them all into different layers. So one quick, really easy way of doing the coloring, you either can just color in like you would color in a coloring book, or you can just outline the edges. So I can outline the edges all the way, or I can color it like I was doing normally. I'm just going to do the edges, though. I think that's a little bit quicker for this one here. So just Just gonna outline these edges here. And if I didn't color it perfectly, then not a big deal. We can go back with the eraser to clean it up more. So you gotta line the edges like this. So I outline it all the way around, and then if you want to like click and drag the, you know, where your swatches is, this is a quick way to do like a quick fill. Let's see, so I can quick drag there and then drag, and that'll color it in for me. Okay, so you know, just go back, clean up the edges. So I'm gonna go back with the eraser tool, and I'm just gonna use like that same brush, this ink studio pen, clean it up. So, you know, take your time, just clean up, you know, the areas that you colored in. So, okay, so that'll be like where my skin is. So, you know, this is one layer for my skin tone. Obviously, this is a little bit darker than my actual skin, but no worries though, we can always change the color later. So click on plus, add another layer. So every color that you add, so, you know, if I want to work on my hair color now, you know, I could go with a black, which I'm not going to go with. I'm going to go with like a middle gray. So I'm going to go with like this darker brownish color. Hide the layer. So add another layer on top of it. So this is going to be a separate layer. And then I'm going to go with like that color next. So, you know, you can just color it normally. So here's a little trick though that you can do. So like I did color in this part of the head already. So if I color over it, it's gonna, you know, obviously color in like that part. So the way the layers works though is you can actually click and drag these layers around. So if I move this behind my, or below my area that I colored where my skin tone is, it's actually going behind the area that you colored in the skin tone. So, you know, if I wanted to just color it in more, you know, I don't have to worry about coloring it all the way on the edges. I can be a little bit more messy. The only thing I kind of worry about is like the edges right here. Okay. So that kind of makes it a little bit easier to color on that part. Although I do need to go back and clean up that one area right there. So, and then the reason why it's not like covering your drawing is because these two layers are below your drawing layer. Now, if I were to move this above the drawing, it's going to cover it up. So you see how like this is like now in front of the drawing. So kind of think of it in terms of like, you know, layers of paper or layers of things that you're doing. And, you know, that's kind of how the layers work. So like the things that are on the front are on the very front. So even like the picture here, I could move it behind the drawing. And then it'll go like behind the drawing here. So that's typically how the layers works though. But you're gonna do like a color for each of the layers and just take your time with like the coloring. So if I'm gonna go back to here, like I'm gonna continue with like the brown here. I'm gonna eyedrop that same brown here, just continue with it. So you can also eyedrop your own drawing colors as well. You know, if I wanted to go back to this part here with this lighter brown, just make sure to go back to that layer to work on that lighter brown color. Okay, so it's real important though that we separate these layers, just because I need to clean up this spot right here. Just because this is gonna be like a reason why we have to do this. So like the hair, the skin, you know, add another layer. You know, I know my eyes are gonna be white, so you know, if you know the colors already, you don't need to eyedrop it from the picture. So I make that white. You know, I probably do like one more color for like the lips here. You know, you can take a look at it, but I would do like, you know, one color for like the lips, the hair, eyes, and then just one for the shirt. So, you know, I probably do like a blue, but, you know, I'll probably add more colors to it later, but, you know, you can probably just do one layer for like, I'll put on the bottom layer here, you know, or for like the blue here. Okay. So I'm just going to show you a more finished version of the coloring, just so you have an idea of like what's going to happen or what's going on once we're done with the coloring. So here's how it would look if you finish like the coloring part. You know, I probably could take my time more with the clothes because, you know, I have like these really nice yellow stripe, different patterns. Like I have like a little bit of yellow, white. But yeah, just for the purposes of the video though, I'm just, you know, I'm just gonna do the blue. I'm actually another version where I colored in a little bit better with the clothes, because I do want to incorporate those different colors in my clothes. But let me just show you like the importance though of like separating all these areas you colored on different layers. Okay, now the reason why we're doing this though is because when we start adding details to your drawings, we can actually utilize these areas that we colored in to add details to like those specific points. So for example, I can click on the area with my, where I color in my skin tone color, the tan color right here. And if we add a clip-in mask, which would be like the last step of your project, we're going to click on plus here. And then we're going to click on the rectangle clip-in mask. So what the clip-in mask does though is it allows us to color in on that specific area. So if I were to click on the skin tone here, I would go with like a darker brown color. So I'm going to show you this, but there's obviously some shadows in my face I can incorporate in the drawing just to add some more details to it. So one nice thing with this clipping mask does is we can kind of go with like a little bit more of like a painterly brush. So I'll click on this brush right here. Maybe I'll use acrylic on this one, and get like a nice big brush here. So if I want to add like some shadows for my drawing though, because if I look at it, I can see some shadows under the nose here. You can see like under the nose, under the chin, under some of the eyes. So we can add those in the drawing itself. So get a nice big brush. We can add like those lighter shadows there. So one nice thing about the clip-in mask though is you see how like the brown doesn't go into like my shirt or the hair over here, or goes on these other outer areas that I'm drawing. Because I have that clip-in mask on my drawing, it's only going to affect the tan color area that I colored in. So I'm going a little crazy with the values here, but one thing we can do too is we can change the opacity, lower it down a little bit, and we can add like those details to the drawings that we need. So then if I wanted to go with like a darker color, I go with like a darker to add some more details to it. So this is like, adding some like lights and darks to my picture values. And same thing if I want to do like highlights. It's gonna allow us to add some more details to this. So I'm just kind of doing this real quickly though, but this is like how we would add details to like the certain parts of the drawing. Or if you didn't want to do that, I'm gonna just delete this. So I'm adding a clip-in mask. We can incorporate like the, Ben-Day dots that we mentioned before with Royal Lichtenstein. So, one of the brushes that we'll use. And this is if you want to keep it more like, inspired by Royal Lichtenstein. We use textures, decimals, and, we can incorporate like a texture for like the skin. So you wouldn't have to use these clip-in masks to do like the Royal Lichtenstein style, because I don't know how you could get these like circles to show up if you don't use the clip-in mask for that. We can lower the opacity, and that'll get us like the in between skin tone colors that we want. Just add a little bit of detail to it. Okay, but that's kind of the whole purpose of these clip-in masks though. We can click on the layer, another layer on top, do a clip-in mask, and then if we want to add like more details to the drawing, there's a lot of really cool textured brushes you can use. You're not really limited to it, so maybe I might want to do this rad texture. Maybe make it like a light blue color. Yeah, that could be really fun to add as a texture for my shirt. Yeah, give it more like that, what they call it, summer t-shirt or summer shirt. Oh, the opacity was too strong. I actually like it like that. That's kind of neat. So, okay. You know, a few things we could do with the clipping mask, but, you know, if you don't have that, though, then I may have to show you guys some other ways to, like, fix it, though, but, you know, this will make your life easier, though, with the adding the details, which is, like, the last step.